Hi everyone, it's Isabella here, and welcome back to another episode of the I've Got You podcast. So today we're hanging out. It's actually, I think it's 7 p.m. right now. It's a little bit gloomy outside, but like we're hanging, we're having a good time. And today's episode, I am so excited. So I actually made an episode that was all around 10 habits I quit to become that girl, and a lot of you guys loved it. Okay, a lot of you guys were like, "Oh my god, give me more of these. These are things that I need." And I was like, you know what? Cool. We're making a part 2 today. So that's what we're diving into. 10 additional habits that I quit to become like the better version of me. Now, a quick disclaimer that I want to kind of throw out there before we get into a topic like this. This is in no way trying to make you think that if you don't do all these things, you're not that girl. Okay, that's not what I'm trying to say at all. I think that's corny and weird to say. What I am saying is these are things that worked for me, that helped me out, that I thought were really transformative in my life. So take what works, leave what doesn't. I'm throwing out ideas and things that have helped me progress in my life and become a better version of me. And again, these things like may change in the future as I learn and grow as an adult, but all I'm saying is these are additional ones that work really, really good. So I have a wine glass, by the way. I have a little bit of wine. I don't really drink ever, but I was like, you know what? Like, it kind of fits the vibe, okay? Before I hop into today's video, as I like pull out my notes here, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel. If you guys are watching or listening on Spotify, you know the drill. Leave a review, baby. I'd so appreciate it. The last time I checked, we were at 97 reviews. My goal was 100, so I'm just saying, like, I just need 3 of y'all. I just need 3 of y'all to do that. That would be so sick. Okay, sorry. So the first thing I'm going to talk about when it comes to 10 habits I quit to become that girl is avoiding action and failure. So a lot of people will avoid action and failure because, again, like they're too scared, and so they don't want to take a step, because if they take a step at something, they may end up fucking up and failing. So I was actually thinking about this today, funny enough, because there was something I wanted to start that was kind of making me scared. And I had to take a step back and go, okay, Bella, like, what are you scared of? Like, what is the problem? What is the concern? And I had to remind myself again and go, like, every single time that you do mess up and fail, in my brain, I'm essentially like narrowing down the avenues and finding out like what is going to work. So to me, like, failure is...
Achète des actions et des ETF sans commission. Télécharge l'appli Trading 212 dès maintenant.
Like, okay, I'm getting closer to my end goal. I'm figuring it out. Because if I fail at something, then I'm like, okay, well, I know that doesn't work, but maybe this way does. Maybe something else is actually going to work out better for me. So it's like you're literally knocking down options and getting rid of things that don't work because you know damn well it doesn't work anymore. So if you mess up or fail at whatever you're working towards, that's okay. Like, shit happens, everyone fails, but you have to kind of redirect your perspective on it and go, oh, well, I'm eliminating things now. I know it doesn't work. Now I get to try something else to see if it actually does. And you can't avoid action because, again, like, you're already failing and fucking up entirely by never doing anything. Like, if you have something that you really, really want in life and you're not doing anything to go after it, like, no shit, it's never gonna happen for you. You're never gonna feel that way. You're never gonna feel the excitement of winning, of achieving that goal. You're just gonna be stuck always. So all I'm gonna say is, might as well fuck up but at least be working towards your goal than doing not a damn thing. Because to me, what's worse than failing is not doing anything at all, okay? And so doing nothing should not be an option for you. And this kind of leads into my next conversation that I want to have is, don't freeze when there's an issue. Freak out, then figure it out. So one thing that I do, like, I definitely do, and oh my god, girl, I had a moment because I like moved in and I was like, fuck, I have all this work I gotta get done, but I want to go outside, like the city needs me, man, like call me Batman Bella. But anyways, I want to be outside, and then I was like, shit, but I need to furnish like my apartment. I'm like, damn, that's taking too long. Like, I had all these things in my head, so I started freezing, and I had to be like, whoa, like, again, you're overwhelmed, there's too much going on, focus on the most important things right now. Like, you can get to your apartment, okay? The city is not leaving you apparently. Like, you're gonna be here for a while. You're fine. Get your shit done. But sometimes in our everyday lives, like, we get really overwhelmed with things or something that we're working towards, and then we just freeze. We get stuck because there's so much and we don't know what to do in life, where to go, how to fix the problem. And freezing is an awful habit. I've totally done that many, many times, and I'm trying still really hard to combat it. But acknowledging the fact that I had that problem and trying to find ways to reroute myself around it significantly helped me. So I like to do the thing called freak out and figure it out. So I like full on let myself panic and get upset and like let it all out. So if I like, I'll sit there and I'll be like, I know I'm fine, but I'm upset. I know I'm fine, I'm sad. Like, I will let it all out. I will cry, I will have a moment, I'll go take a walk, like I'll do something to like let myself process those emotions and get it all out. And then after, Mama, it's game time. We freaked out. We've had our moment. Now we got to get the hell back on to what we wanted to do, okay? The best way that you can honestly get back on track is figure out, like, what's one thing you can do right now? What do you have control over? What are the things that you can go, oh yeah, like I can do this right now. So that might be cleaning your apartment. That might be maybe taking on a small part of a project that you're working on. Like, there's many things that you could do to at least get like a grip on what you're struggling on, but allow yourself to have that moment to freak out, because I used to try and completely ignore my emotions. That did nothing for me. Like, it honestly, made it 10 times worse. I had a lot of stuff bottled up, and then I felt very guilty for the fact that I was even feeling something, okay? And you don't want to do that. I'm telling you right now, you don't want to do that. So freak out, then figure it out, but don't completely freeze up. Like, at least do some kind of action. Freezing up, again, is not the best. It happens to the best of us, but it's not the best. So instead, let all of your emotions out. If you gotta talk out loud, do it. But let it out in some way and then go, okay, now what do I have control over? What am I gonna do right now to make my situation better? Number 3 is letting my emotions make every single decision for me. So one thing I've 100% caught myself doing before is if I get in the heat of the moment or if I get upset about something, sometimes I will respond very quickly. That could be all great, when you really need to, but sometimes you need to take a second to like reel it in and go, okay, wait a minute, let me think about a decision before I make it. And that's when I think people need to practice taking a step back instead of responding with your emotions. This would go for anything like arguments, decisions when it comes to work, friendships, you name it. Sometimes because we have a certain response to protect ourselves, we may throw in the towel too soon. Maybe we say something that we don't mean. Maybe we are just acting a little bit too impulsively, and then we're like, shit, that's a decision I can't take back now. Like, I already made that, I already said that. And so I don't want you to like let your emotions get the best of you and make the decision for you. So if you feel like you're getting pissed, getting really sad, getting really irritated, take a step back. Like, if you're in a situation where you're getting very frustrated and upset, like, you literally have to be like, I gotta take my hands off this. Like, I gotta walk away. I gotta do something, because I know it's probably gonna feel bad stepping away from something because you want to face it head on, and you're going to, but you're gonna feel 10 times better knowing that you took a breather and you actually were critically thinking about your decision making skills instead of making an impulsive decision that could lead to long-term negative effects. You do not want to have your emotions make all the decisions. You have to take a second to also, evaluate your emotions and your heart, but at the same time go, okay, what is best for me in whatever situation that is. I remember there was one time where I was editing a video. It was the second time I was editing it. It froze up, all my storage was wiped. I was like, what the fuck? Like, I didn't know what was going on, and I got so pissed. I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm about ready to like wipe everything over and just like quit, just refill. Like, at this point, full on factory reset my laptop, and I had to take a breather, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna walk it off. And then I thought about it, and I was like, actually, wait a minute, I think I know what I can do. I tried that troubleshooting that I had in my mind. It worked. I got the video done, I uploaded it, and it was all good to go. Now, had I not have thought through that, decision, I would have just impulsively got rid of it, said fuck it, and then I would have been angry that all day. So I took a second to take a breather and critically think a little bit more about what I was going to do, and I literally had so many more benefits because I did that. So I'm just saying, sometimes running in head first is not always the proper answer. And girl, this is coming from an Aries sun and moon and a Sagittarius rising, okay? And we are known for going into shit head first, okay? So I'm letting you know, fellow fire sign here, you gotta chill out a little bit, okay? Next one, oh my god, I swear I've talked about this recently on my TikTok. Confusing attention for affection. Okay, so I made a little TikTok talking about this exact thing, and I used to do this where I would like fall in love with a version of somebody that I made up in my head, because I started making them look to be something that they weren't, but like I was confusing the attention that they were giving me as if they liked me. Like, I automatically translated the fact that they spent time with me, wanted to hang out with me, as like a good thing. Now, I know that sounds really confusing right now, but so I'm going to give a really quick example. I had an ex one time who wanted to spend a lot of time with me, but unfortunately,
Car nous l'homme, une alimentation inspirée par ses ancêtres.
In business, you only get one chance to make a great first impression.
it was love bombing. I was full on falling for it though. Like, I full on thought, like, I really thought that the attention was affection and true love and really healthy. But in reality, it was a bunch of red flags that I was completely missing because I genuinely thought that was the case. It can happen to the best of us. All I'm saying is there's many people in the world who will give you that kind of attention, who will give you a lot of time, but they don't exactly have the best intentions at heart. So you have to have like a level of discernment to go, what is happening and why? And is this actually helping me out? Because yeah, sometimes you can put the rose-colored glasses on and sit there and go, oh shit, like they're so amazing and they're so into me. Like, of course they're into me because like I'm amazing, you know what I mean? Like, but in reality, you're completely mistaking some of their actions when they're doing it selfishly, when they're love bombing, when they're actually following a super toxic pattern, but you don't clock it because you think it's all fine and dandy and oh, well, they're putting in effort. But the effort is malicious as fuck. So do not confuse somebody give you attention for affection, because not all attention is good attention. Not all time being spent with you is good. There are some people, and unfortunately I've had to cut a friend off over this, that spent so much time and attention on me, and I thought that it was because they were a good friend. Meanwhile, I realized they were trying to literally get information out of me so they can go talk shit, so that way they could mimic something I was doing. Like, I didn't even realize it. And after a bit I was like, oh my god, like I missed the red flags. What the hell? It happens to the best of us, but try and really evaluate things, situations that you're in, and if something doesn't feel right, listen to it, because dude, this can happen in any, like, friendships, relationships, you name it, and it really sucks. But once you see it, girl, yeah, you can't unsee it, and then you gotta go. So this next one is kind of also weirdly connected to what I was just talking about. You gotta be careful with oversharing with people who haven't earned access to you yet. Now, this also can suck because you could definitely overshare with the wrong people, aka like a bad friend, and you don't know that they're a bad friend yet, like they're being totally messy and malicious. So this is something that, like, truly anything can happen, but when you see the red flags, you have to do something about it to protect yourself. Unfortunately, there are times where if we're like really big people individuals, like for me, I will become like besties and super chill with like somebody I'm sitting next to on like public transportation or like out on the sidewalk. Like, I'm that kind of person. And so I talk and I yap. The problem is that some of us may accidentally perceive that friendliness as like, oh, I'm going to overshare and tell something about my life. And I've met people like this where they will tell so many details to the point of like, I'm over here like, damn, I know I'm a good person, but you overshare so much and you don't know me like that. Like, damn, you got to be careful with yourself, like, genuinely. And like, I've actually done that too, where I would think like, oh, this person and I are cool, and I would start talking about certain things that were happening in my life, my goals, and then unfortunately I was like, shit, I just shared way too much. And then that, you know, that person is trying to sabotage me, that person doesn't really like me, that person's now talking shit about my goals. Like, that's the kind of stuff that you are like accidentally letting in because you're a friendly person, and it sucks. But sharing about so much about you needs to be earned. Not everyone needs to have access to you, and you need to be incredibly protective of yourself, especially if you're working on like really big things. Like, I have some goals I have not told anyone, because some people will really try and send you bad vibes. Like, they will really try and fuck with you or embarrass you or sabotage you, copy you. Like, there's so many ways that can go south. So be incredibly picky. And when that does happen, you have to absolutely pull your energy back and stop engaging with those people, because it's not going to get any better. And if they're bad people that are trying to sabotage you, you got to chill out. And one thing I actually did to kind of help myself practice is I would really have to think, like, if I told this person these details about myself and it got out to way more people than just this individual, would I be okay with that? And then if I really wasn't, I'm like, no. So unless I truly knew them and was like, I'm totally comfortable with telling them this, I'm not doing it. Like, I'm absolutely not. If I'm telling somebody something like that, it's because I'm cool with everyone else hearing it. Now, another thing that I want to throw out there, if you are unfortunately in a position like I have been, where you have shared so much about your life to somebody and then you realize that they're a bad friend, that there's nothing you can do about that. Like, I just have to give you reassurance as someone who has recently lived that and is very upset at that. There's nothing you can do. It happens to the best of us. Like, not everyone can just see the future and tell when someone has bad intentions, okay? Like, truly, there are some individuals who cosplay good friends and they're not, and it's so fucking awful. So if you see that, if you feel that, just slowly pull back and do not give any more information anymore, because you don't want it weaponized against you. Or honestly, again, telling somebody who doesn't have your best interest at heart any more details about you, just start acting like they're an acquaintance and pull back, because that is not something that you deserve to deal with. On my wine real quickly. My apartment complex gave me this wine. I don't drink a lot, but like, I'm not kidding. I poured this line a tiny bit up here. I don't drink a lot, y'all. I'm serious. So next one is saying yes when you want to say no. So I used to do this way too much. I used to kind of like call myself a fixer. I would always be there for everyone, and I used to pride myself on that, where I would be so proud of myself for the fact that I would always have everyone in everything, and I would always say yes, and I'd be like, don't worry, I've got it. And I still love that about myself, but I've reeled it in because I realized I was spreading myself too thin. And when you're not able to say, look, I can't do this right now, I don't want to, I'm too tired, etc., like, you are going to hurt yourself in the long run. And the way I kind of restructured this is I started to realize that if I keep putting energy into things that I'm not capable of keeping up with, I'm taking too much energy away from me. And I want to really like debunk this concept of selfish, and being selfish is so wrong. You do need to be selfish to a certain extent, absolutely. Like, I am selfish with my time because I have shit I want to do. I have things I want to accomplish and experience. You can't do that if you're dicking off, if you're screwing off, if you're taking care of everyone else's issues besides your own. That is not going to work out for you. So you have to know that you can't be saying yes to everyone. And that also goes for opportunities, right? Not every opportunity is a good one. Not every friend is a good person. Not every time you offer to help is the time that you should be offering to help. And sometimes you may not have like a legit reason of like, oh, well, I don't want to do this because fill in the blank. You don't have to always have a reason. Sometimes you just simply don't feel like it, or like, I just don't have the energy for this. And that is okay. Like, you have to take care of you at the end of the day. And this is not like in any way to disregard like community and helping and being a good friend, but there are many people, and I'm sure somebody can relate to this, that have genuinely spread themselves way too thin, and it exhausts you. And you only have so many hours in the day, so much time to help yourself out and other people out. So sometimes you got to be a little selfish, because they're going to be okay and figure it out. You're going to be okay and figure it out. When you can help, you're going to help. When you can't, you don't. And there is literally nothing wrong with that. And so when I started really protective over my yeses and being more adamant with using a no, it definitely helped me out so much when it comes to like my life and just how I felt every day. Next one is treating rest like a reward instead of a requirement. Oh man, I'm gonna call myself out on this one. I used to beat myself up so bad for taking naps, taking breaks, anything, because I felt like every single second of my day, if I wasn't working towards something, I was failing. Like, I wasn't doing enough. I was being a lazy piece of shit. Like, I shouldn't be sleeping in. I shouldn't be doing any of that. And so I felt awful, and like, I'm gonna get behind. I'm not gonna be good enough. Like, I'm gonna be a failure. Oh my God, no. And this actually, I had to remind myself again about this, because not too long ago I had a little small procedure, a little surgery, if you will, and I remember being like, fuck, I'm so tired, like, I just need a nap. And I don't nap a lot, like, I really never have the urge to. And I was like, my God, like, I'm so tired. And then the thought went through my head of, am I really tired, or am I just being a bitch? And then all of a sudden, again, like, my brain went off and was like, your body is telling you you're tired. That automatically waves off the idea that you're being a bitch. You are literally feeling this. Sometimes you have to listen to your body. Your body is speaking to you, telling you that you need something right now. And if that's rest, if that's a break, you've got to listen to it. And you shouldn't go out of your way to like reward yourself of, oh, if I do all these things, then I deserve to eat, then I deserve a nap, then I deserve to go to sleep. You deserve those basic decencies. Always, okay? And if you are really feeling it, sometimes you got to put down the damn notebook and the vision board and go to bed, okay? Sometimes you got to take a second, take a breather, take a 15-minute power nap, whatever you got to do, but do not treat rest and taking care of yourself as some reward if you work really hard. You're a human being that automatically deserves that. There is no way that you need to like rationalize or negotiate the fact of like, I need to take care of myself. Girl, you got to take care of yourself regardless. And if you have goals and things you want to accomplish, then you can't expect to even hit them if you're not taking care of yourself. Like, you're gonna burn out if you don't take a second to slow down and make sure that you're good, that you're eating, that you're getting enough sleep, that you're drinking some water. And actually, speaking of, by the way, let's take a quick moment. Have you drank some water? If not, go do it. Go do it right now. Okay, love you so much. Kisses. Mwah. Go get some water. Okay, get a drink, something. Okay, get a little snack. Take care of yourself. Okay, do what you can and take a moment to pause and breathe. But don't just treat like, oh, I'll finally let myself sleep and eat, or if I do this. No, You're a human being that literally needs these kinds of things to exist, survive, and be the best version of yourself. Do not hold yourself back from getting the things that your body desperately needs. This next one is expecting closure from people who have hurt you. So I made a little joke about this, about how I think closure is kind of a scam to some degree in regard to the conversation around expecting it from someone so you understand why they did something to you. So I remember years and years ago, I remember I had a relationship in middle school and he broke up with me and I was like, why? What did I not do? Was I not good enough? Like, was I not pretty enough? Was I talking too much? Like, I exhausted myself crying for nights on end, wondering, what did I do? And I was like, well, I want to talk to him. Like, I want him to tell me what happened, why? And I didn't understand it for a bit. And then we hit a different relationship that I had where I was like, well, why didn't he treat me good? Why wasn't he nice to me? Why did this, like, I don't understand. I thought I did everything correctly. Like, I always asked him what he needed. And it still didn't work. Like, why? Why did that not happen for me? And I would literally be like, maybe I want to text my ex. Like, I want to text and ask. I want to figure out. Or even like friends that didn't work out. I was like, why? Like, what happened? What the fuck was going on there? Like, I want to reach out and know. And I was doing more harm than good because I was desperately trying to get an answer for somebody and they already gave it to me clearly. And once I realized that I already got my closure through their actions and their words and how they were treating me, that was enough for me. Like, I had to accept the fact that they chose to go. They chose to mistreat me. They chose to do these things. That gives me my closure. Like, I shouldn't have to go through and figure out, like, well, why? Why did they hurt me like this? They did. Like, and this is really awful. And I was talking about this actually to my mom the other day. Sometimes we have to accept the fact that some people just suck. Like, some people just fucking suck and are going to make bad decisions and are going to treat you like shit. And there's nothing you can do about it. And we are naturally curious human beings. Like, we want to know why something happened. Like, we are always searching for, like, how the universe began. Like, all these things when it comes to the world and science. Like, we're naturally, inherently curious. And we do that with things that fail, like relationships. And sometimes we can't have the answer and we're never going to. And sometimes we want to find the answer because we can't comprehend them being bad or hurting us. So we're like, well, there has to be a rational reason why they mistreated us. Or I must have been the one to fuck up because there's no way. Yeah, there's a way, baby. They didn't want to be with you. And there's nothing wrong with saying that. They didn't want to be with you. And that does not mean there's something wrong with you. That just means that that was not meant for you. Like, you do not need to have them sit you down and say, I sucked. Or, well, you couldn't. No, absolutely not. If it didn't work out, it didn't work out. If it was meant to work out, somebody would want to talk with you. You'd be able to hash it out. If it was supposed to work out, it was going to. And you can't get closure from everyone. You have to find it yourself in order to gain peace. And if you want to be able to feel that peace, you have to accept what is happening to you. So yeah, I had somebody who was treating me like shit in one relationship. And I, for the longest time, wondered why. And now I'm like, that's because they chose to. Such a simple answer. That's because they chose to. They made that decision. And it is not my job to exhaust myself mentally figuring out why. That's their karma and their problem. I have bigger shit to deal with, and that's taking care of myself and living a good life. I don't need to ponder for fucking years like Socrates going, why did they do that? I don't care anymore. I don't give a fuck. And it sucks to do it first, but letting that go and realizing, well, they suck and I'm not going to linger on it anymore is such an empowering feeling. This next one, some of y'all really need to hear this. Believing your doubts over your dreams. Some of y'all are so damn delusional, okay? And not in a good way. Not in the fun way, not in the daydreamer way. In the way of, I'm not capable of that. Well, I'm not going to be able to do this. I'm not going to be able to accomplish this, get that job, move forward with my career, have this kind of I'm not going to be able to. Why? Like, truly, I really want you to think about why.
Investis dans des actions et des ETF, sans la moindre commission. Trade à tout moment grâce à l'accès au marché.
Why is it that you can't? Because you are so quick to assume that you're not capable, yet you're never quick to assume that you are. And I used to do this shit, okay? I used to be like, well, I'd never be able to. That's not going to be for me. I don't think I'm capable. And then after a while, I was like, every single time I'm this delusional about not being able to do something, I got to switch it up and be just as delusional about I can make it happen, that I am going to accomplish that. And once I got, like, overly obsessed with, like, I am going to be able to accomplish this, my world changed. I'm not kidding. I'll have, like, a TikTok link in the description below. I made this video not too long ago, and I think the one thing that changed my life, and I made another YouTube video, I'll have this over here, about going from struggling really badly to now just being very successful and good within myself and crawling out of the bad hole that I was in, okay? The one thing that I did that changed everything was being so delusionally obsessed with the fact of it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And because I was so used to, like, I was always believing the negative, and I was like, well, this is all I'm gonna get. And I realized, like, well, if I keep believing this is all I'm gonna get, that's all I'm gonna get. I'm not gonna get anything good in life if I always think that's what I deserve, that's what I'll receive. Like, and I'm thinking, well, then fuck it. Why don't I just become more, like, obsessed with I am going to? And it sounds crazy right now, and I have no evidence to support that. I kind of sound dumb, but fuck it. Like, what do I have to lose? And it worked. I swear to you, it worked. So if you are capable of always being like, well, I'm not good enough, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not smart enough, girl, I said the same bullshit about myself years ago. And did that work out for me? No, it didn't. But it sure worked out when I said I was capable. It definitely worked out when I said I was going to work for my dreams and get, like, a beautiful apartment and take care of myself and accomplish these goals and be able to do these super cool things with people on the internet. Like, that happened because I was delusional. I busted my ass and I was like, no, I'm going to. Like, if I'm capable of saying, I don't know, I'm also capable of saying, yeah, absolutely, what if? Like, I think this is going to happen for me. So you got to rewire your mindset, babe. You have to 100% believe in the fact that you are going to accomplish something. And that means putting things around you that's going to make you believe it. So listening to music that makes you excited and, like, motivated to accomplish that goal. I would listen to Almost There from The Princess and the Frog because, like, that was my song of, like, oh yeah, it's my motivation. Almost there. Like, I'm almost there to accomplish my goals. I will have my vision board every single year. I yab about that all the time. I will write letters to myself, like my future self, congratulating her on the things that she's accomplished. I literally have a letter that I wrote years ago that I was accomplishing myself. Like, I was congratulating myself, the money that I made every month, like the things that I was doing and what I was living. And I shit you not, I'm living everything that I wrote in that letter. Completely. 100%. And I have another one sitting in my jewelry box right now that is congratulating me for the next thing that I'm going to accomplish. Because I'm that fucking delusional, okay? And every time, I just had to keep reminding myself, I'm going to do it. So what are you going to do? You're going to surround yourself with things and positivity that remind you that you are capable of it. And you are capable of whatever you set your mind to. All right, guys. Last but certainly not least, this is another really good one. Defining yourself by productivity. So I have definitely done this before where I really put my value and my goodness and if I was working enough, and I felt like the biggest piece of shit if I wasn't working enough at all. And so, like, I put my value way too much in my career, like way too much. And if I am lazy in any way, shape, or form, I suck. And then I was, like, always miserable. And so after a bit, I was like, I have to be okay with, like, I'm valuable laying on the couch too. Like, I'm valuable taking a nap, taking a rest, relaxing, giving myself a second. I am totally fine doing all of those things. Just as I am valuable busting my ass and working towards my goals, I'm also valuable with taking care of myself. Why? Both of those things need to exist. One cannot exist without the other. I cannot accomplish my goal if I'm not taking care of myself. But I put so much value in the working towards stuff and being productive and always going. It was unrealistic. It was a very toxic perspective of hustle culture that put me into this vicious cycle where I genuinely would beat myself up if I wasn't being productive or doing something. And I don't want you to feel like that. I don't want you to sit here and go, fuck, like, I'm not good enough. Like, my value isn't my work. Absolutely not. And this is going to sound really silly, but if you guys can, if you have Disney Plus, if you have any Disney something, I recommend you watching the movie Soul. I watched it. I'm going to actually rewatch it again. Honestly touched me big time. When this movie came out, it's about this piano player. Yeah. So this guy, he wants to play in a band. He wants to be a part of, like, a jazz club, and he dies. I know it sounds really gruesome, but I swear it's not bad. So he dies, and he is put into this area where he's going to be taking care of these souls, and they're trying to find, like, the passions and purposes of the soul in life, and it talks about your purpose in life and where you even find that. And pretty much what it was talking about was you find your purpose in life and your passions in life by living, by finding what works for you, what clicks. And it's not about working really hard 100% to be the most productive possible that creates your value and your purpose. It's existing. It's smelling the fresh air. It's playing with your dog. It's cuddling up on the couch when you need to. It's working on your goals. It's, listening to music in the shower, like creating and developing and existing in life the way you feel is right for you. But putting your value in just like, I've worked, okay, now what? That's not what you need to be doing or focusing on. That, you're going to burn out and feel like you have nothing, and you don't want to feel that way. You don't want to feel like shit if you're not working towards the goal, okay? While I want you guys to be locked into your goals and accomplish them, we have to have a realistic expectation of taking a step back and going, my value is not just in this. My value is in my existence. Like, I am born with value. I'm good. I'm wonderful. I am just as valuable laying on this couch and having a lazy day as I am working towards my goals. So that was it for today's episode of the I've Got You podcast of 10 habits and things that I changed to become that girl and become the best version of myself. And I think they have all helped me a ton. And these are still things that I practice to this day. There is no perfection over here, just so you know. Okay, we're still goofing it sometimes, but these are things that have made me like heal faster, get through things better, and realize when I deserve more, and have made my life so much better. And I hopefully can help you out too. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. And I'm gonna go hang out. I will see you guys later. Love you. Bye.
Depuis que je suis toute petite, je rêve d'ouvrir une boutique de chocolat. Pour faire des chocolats uniques.
Alright, so who else has been told that they're too much? Me too, babe. Okay, if you've ever been told that you are too much from friend, ex-partner, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, your parents, another grown adult when you were a child, a teacher, whatever that is. Some of us have been in the situation where we've been told that we are too much, and as someone who has definitely been told that many a times, I would like to argue against that because some people are using that and it's not in a good way. Hi, my name is Isabella Lanter, your host of the I've Got You podcast, and today we are talking about you're not too much, they're just intimidated by you. Okay, now I know I'm going to sound like your older sister or your mom that would say they don't like you because they're jealous of you. I know, that sounds really silly, but in all seriousness though, I do want to talk about this because I hate this whole concept of being too much because, well, I think there's some significance in it. I think some people can absolutely be too much. I also think that that is being used in a way that to downplay people, and I'm so over that. I'm over the idea of minimizing somebody for someone else's comfort. So that's what we're talking about today. I'm going to whip out my notes really quickly. And before we hop in, as I'm pulling up my notes, I would love for you guys to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel if you like content like this. Don't forget to check out all my other content on this channel as well because I have so much stuff that I posted this month. Don't forget to check out my Instagram and TikTok if you want to hang out with me more. Also, if you're listening on Spotify, I would love if you left a 5-star review. It would mean the world to me. And now let's get into this stuff. So first things first, I just want to say, and this is something I specifically wrote down because I think it's a good definition of what, like, I think too much has been labeled as. So I just wrote down, if you've ever been told that you're too loud, too emotional, too confident, maybe too hardworking, too ambitious, you have too big of goals, you're just too much to handle, then this episode is for you. This is what we're talking about. Because I'm wanting to give you the permission slip to take up space and exist how you are, and how to actually like maneuver that. So first thing I want to talk about is the lie of being too much. So whenever I have had these experiences, some people have said that I was talking too much, that I dressed up too much, that I was maybe too emotional, too intense, and overall, one of the biggest conclusions that I was able to have with this conversation whenever somebody would tell me that is I was making them feel uncomfortable within their own limitations because they were not comfortable doing that themselves, and I wasn't even doing a damn thing wrong to begin with. But the problem is I, for the longest time, thought that I was doing something wrong, and I was being too loud or like ambitious or stupid or delusional, and so I ended up shrinking myself because I was believing the lie of being too much. Some of the things I think a lot of us experience with this lie is it kind of slips in like these little jabs with statements that people will make to us. Like for me, I remember with some ex-boyfriends, I was told I was too emotional. But in reality, I wasn't too emotional at all. I was healthily expressing my emotions. They were genuinely emotionally immature. I remember I was also told that I needed to be realistic with my goals. But in reality, they had themselves in a cage of what was called their limitations. But I didn't want to keep myself in the cage of their own limitations. I wanted to keep going because I felt like something was different in me and I wanted to pursue a dream that I had. And just over time, throughout me having all these experiences, I started to realize that a lot of what was being told to me was just a flat out lie. It was because other people felt uncomfortable with the way that I carried myself, and that was bothering them because they were not able to meet that kind of expectation or be in the same area as I was. And that was perfectly fine, but they let it out on me. So if you've ever been in this kind of position before, sometimes when you are very like true to yourself and you are you to a T, you feel good, you feel great, and you are expressing yourself in whatever the way that is, that kind of light and exposure that you have as an individual that is, being shed out, that kind of energy, that can expose some people and how they truly feel about themselves or the situations that they're living in. For example, if there's somebody that is like, I want to have blue hair, right? I want to have blue hair. I think that'd be so fun. I think that'd be so cool. And then there's some other person who's just like, I don't like blue hair. I think that looks weird. But instead of having the opinion of like, it's not for me, but I love that she's doing that, they want to project it. And a lot of the times when people do that, it's like they're trying to put themselves on a pedestal and make themselves feel better than somebody who's doing whatever that is that doesn't fit the specific status norm or doesn't fit what makes them comfortable. Because if we really think about it, there's a lot of people who have their own perception of what's like normal and good, but they don't just keep it to themselves. Like they don't have one standard of, it's me that thinks this way and I want this for my life. They don't want to just project on themselves, they project it on everyone else. And if something doesn't fit into their norm, suddenly it's an immediate threat to them. So then it's like they have to vocalize it and make you uncomfortable for how you are living. Whether, it's blue hair, speaking your mind, the way that you dress, whatever that is, suddenly you're supposed to feel smaller than or fit inside the norm that makes people more comfortable. And labeling someone as too much is, quite frankly, a lazy ass way, in my opinion, of saying you are doing something that I can't see myself doing, therefore I don't want you to do it either. And I think that's like really fucking weird, because I think dimming someone else's light so that way you feel comfortable is just another expression of insecurity. And that's exactly why I think a lot of labels of you're being too much, I think is such a lie. And so that's why I want to talk about why some people are threatened by you and why I think the threat even exists to begin with. So when people are threatened by you or are labeling things as like you're too much, a lot of the times, like I said, it's coming from internally. It's coming from something within, and they're not expressing it any other way besides targeting at you because it's easier for them to do so. And sometimes it's because you are a reflection of something they want to be and become. A good example of this for me was, I remember in high school, I was actually a very insecure person. Funny enough, the whole reason why I started social media was because I literally hated myself and I needed to find like an avenue to put myself out there. So I was actively trying to find ways to make myself not hate myself because I was exhausted living that way. And one of my avenues of gaining confidence was makeup and clothing. If I dressed up and I felt good, it like boosted my confidence when I didn't really have any. So I would dress up a lot in high school. Now, mind you, was I one of those bitches that would be like wearing heels to high school? I sure did. I would get very dressed up. I would get all done up, but it was like my way of feeling good about myself, and it worked. It really, really helped me a lot, especially during those tough times where I was getting like made fun of, and some people were just being really mean to me. And I remember there'd be some people who would make fun of that still, of like, oh, she's just doing too much, la 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 la. I actually remember I used to have, when I would be in school and if it was on a weekend, somebody would like take photos of me on Snapchat, post them up on their story, and make fun of the fact that I was wearing tennis shoes because apparently like I was dressed out. Like it was no matter what, like I couldn't win. And then I'm not even kidding, like recently, I actually found out years later, all of them actually wanted to dress like me. And I know, for me, I was like, what, really? Like I never thought that way. But all of them wanted to, but they were uncomfortable because I was doing something different, but they resorted to just making fun of me for it instead. And that's like a wild thing to think about. That's literally so true. And same thing goes for my social media. I was made fun of so bad for my social media. Now those same people will pop up on my free page and they're trying to do the same thing that I'm doing right now. And like, good for them. Like, truly good for them that I have no hate to that. It was a bunch of bullshit before, but you know what? Good for you. But what I'm getting at is there are people who will try and make you feel smaller. They will try and dim you because they see something in you that you may actually not even see within yourself. And that's why I don't take a lot of people that are haters seriously. I just don't give a fuck. But people who are like unreasonably rude and are trying to minimize you, they see something in you that's good. Like they actually see something of like, I like this about her, but I don't want her to like this about herself. So therefore, if I can't do it, we all can't do it. I need to make you feel like shit too. And it's interesting to me as I witness this in my own life because I'm started to realize like the source of where this stuff is coming from, because a lot of people are truly projecting and it's really fucking awful. And even sometimes like you are reflecting things that maybe they even haven't dealt with themselves. So for example, if you're someone who's really confident, or you speak up for yourself, you defend yourself, you don't like fit into societal norms maybe. Maybe you're someone who holds really firm boundaries, right? And then some people get offended by those boundaries. Sometimes they label you as too much because you're actually doing something that they wish that they could do. And they're like, damn, I won't hold a boundary, or I didn't grow up holding those boundaries. So again, I didn't grow up doing it and it's life. I'm going to point the finger at you. And instead of them sitting back and reflecting and going, damn, actually, no, I do need to work on this about me. Like, I like seeing how she lives. I want to do that too. They don't want to face their own shit, so they'd rather have you stay in that same cycle as well. And that is where the term of you're too much happens. And that just really sucks to hear, especially because when you hear you're too much, you actually start to wonder if like you're the problem. And when we talk about why people are threatened, this can also exist in relationships, friendships, everything. So for example, in friendships, some people will be like left out for being too dramatic or thinking about things too deeply or calling out something or having firm boundaries. Or for example, like if you're someone that doesn't drink in a friendship group, like I've unfortunately experienced where if I didn't want to drink, I would be like made fun of. Like it would be like Bella, like not drinking again. I'm like, yeah, are you okay? Because it was just bothersome to them that I just didn't want to do it for some odd reason. Like I didn't want to do what everyone else did. Suddenly it was a problem. It was like, you're doing too much, Bella. And in reality, I'm like, I just don't want to drink. Like, it doesn't hurt them. And that's the thing, is a lot of these actions don't negatively affect these people, but it affects how they are feeling themselves. It doesn't actually do anything. Like, you're not hurting anyone with your boundaries, but it's bothering them. So if you're someone who has bad friends, then you're going to notice that pattern of those little jabs that are put out to you, backhanded compliments. Those kinds of things are another example of being too much, and they are threatened by the fact of what or something that you're doing. They're not even being nice about it if you were doing something wrong. They're just being assholes. This can also show up in relationships. So for example, I know I have unfortunately been in some pretty unfortunate, very shitty relationships, and my ex-boyfriend actually, he started saying that I was too much with my goals. Like he started trying to downplay my goals and the things that I wanted to do in life. And it started very small and I didn't notice it for a second. And I want to bring this up because sometimes when we have people that are labeling us too much, they don't use that exact phrasing if you're doing too much. They will find little sneaky ways of doing it. So I remember vividly, I was talking about how I love the ocean. I do. I love the ocean. I love space. I would love to go to an aquarium someday. I really, really would love to go to like NASA and like a space museum, like something like that, where I can maybe look at the technology that they use to like look into space, like maybe learn about the things that we're currently trying to learn about or discover in space. Like that stuff really fascinates me. And he always would like make fun of jab at the fact that like I wanted to do that. I was like, what are you doing? Like he would try and be like, well, you could just Google this, it's really not that hard. I'm like, no, I know, but like I want to go experience it. Well, I mean, why do you need to? Like it would always be something silly. And then there were times where I would talk about a goal I had, and I would be very like, this is a financial goal I have, this is the apartment I want, and I would talk about things as if they existed. It would be like, well, I mean, it's kind of a lot of money, don't you think? And I'm like, yeah, it is, but I know I can do this. Like, I am very sure of myself. And then when I would talk about things I wanted to do or accomplish, all of a sudden, he would get very uncomfortable and then be like, well, I'm not there. I'm not doing this. And then I was like, I'm very confused on what that has to do with me. Like, he would get offended because he wasn't in a position that I was, so he would suddenly get uncomfortable because I would talk about financial goals. I want to go to a trip to Italy someday. I do. I always wanted to go to Italy, but I want to go to Italy because I want to check out vintage shops and I want to check out a jewelry store. And there's one that I have saved that I've always wanted to go to that has beautiful vintage pieces. And I love looking for vintage stuff because, one, I love, thrifting and finding vintage is really important to me, but I think it's cool finding something that has history. So I told him that. I said, I want to do this someday. And he got offended because he's like, well, I don't have money to do that right now. And I was like, neither do I. I'm paying off student loans. I understand that. But I'm like, but I want to do it someday. And he's like, well, I don't want to talk about this right now because I don't have money for this and it makes me uncomfortable. And I'm like, because I'm talking about my goals? What? He would get upset. and would try and minimize. And this is the kind of stuff that happens in relationships and friendships. Is it's not directly you're too much, but it's a jab to make you quieter and smaller and make you feel like what you're talking about and doing when it's nothing wrong to feel like a problem. And it just fucking sucks. The best way I could describe it is you know you're being minimized when it feels wrong when you're talking to someone you care about something that you like, you're passionate about, or just existing as you are, and they have to find a way to make you feel comfortable about it. And it's so frustrating, to say the least. And sometimes you don't realize it because you're around these people, and then you start to like unknowingly minimize yourself and get quieter and pull back. So you start to talk less, maybe. You start to maybe be like, damn, maybe should I not have this boundary? This other person's really bothered by it, like I'm upsetting them. Damn, maybe I shouldn't talk about my goals because they're uncomfortable with my goals. Maybe I shouldn't start this accomplishment because everyone's going to make fun of me for it. Like we start to look to ourselves when, quite frankly, I'm going to hold your hand, my love. Put your hand in. Okay, we need to reevaluate the people that we're surrounding ourselves with, because I'm telling you, you are not doing too much. A lot of y'all are thinking you're doing too much when you're simply existing. Like, you're simply living life to the best of your ability. And one thing I hate is when you're trying to grow as a person and you're trying to self-express and heal and be confident, you feel like you can't keep moving forward, or you feel bad for moving forward because somebody else is trying to dim your light. And if you're somebody who's on that self-healing journey and trying to become better, you're suddenly at like a point of, wait a minute, am I doing something wrong? Like, you actually go, fuck, wait a second, am I really being too much? Am I being too self-centered? Do I sound selfish? Am I too self-absorbed? When in reality, you just give a fuck about yourself, and you're making that clear, and some people don't feel comfortable with that. And I'm gonna tell y'all right now, okay, anyone who is meant to be in your life, anyone who's good, anyone who's a good friend, partner, you name it, you are not going to have to minimize yourself for them. You are not going to have to sit and go, I won't talk about my goal. It makes that person uncomfortable. You will never have to think about that because they will be excited for you. Good friends, good people are not going to have to dim your light and try and tell you you're too much. They're going to want you to be doing too much. They're going to want that for you. Like, I'm very fortunate. I have friends where if I'm talking about something I deserve in life or want, they don't sit there and go, are you sure? They're like, you're fucking right, you deserve that. My mom, for example, I'll tell her about a goal. And am I remotely close to it? Girl, no. Am I going to get there? Yes. My mom literally hypes me up so much. She's like, yes. Like, duh, you're going to do that. Like, are you kidding me? I know you're going to accomplish that. So people like that exist. But if you do not have that kind of people surrounding you, it is going to be 10 times harder for you to succeed in life, feel better, and have support that you deserve when you keep surrounding yourself with people who label you as too much. Because I am telling you, it does change things. Because you start questioning everything. That's why I encourage y'all to dump that fuck-ass loser, get rid of those shitty-ass friends, and stop being around people that doubt you, because that kind of stuff infiltrates your noggin and makes you feel like shit. And that's what's leading me into talking about don't dim your light. Do not shrink yourself to make other people comfortable. And what I mean by shrinking yourself to fit is like laughing quieter so people feel more comfortable. Like downplaying your success or not mentioning certain details just because somebody else may get offended by them. Hiding your feelings to avoid being dramatic, or not telling somebody that they hurt you because you know they're gonna get pissed at you for you speaking up for yourself. Or changing your standards and adjusting things because somebody in your life doesn't want to meet your standards. So essentially dropping yourself down to meet them where they are instead of only wanting to be around people who meet you where you're at. And as somebody who was told from grade school as a little kid and even as an adult, and even now I have people that will tell me that you're doing too much, you are being too much. Your life is not meant to be shrinking yourself to make other people's comfortable. Your life is not meant to be lived by adjusting according to what everyone else's standards are, because quite frankly, a lot of them have some fucked up standards. Like, I'm just telling you, a lot of them don't even know what they want in life. So what the hell makes you think that they know what you should be doing in life? Just saying, The same people that are telling you that you are too much and you're shrinking yourself are some of the same ones who feel really uncomfortable and nervous and can't make a decision on their own either. They have to have other surrounding people help make it for them. The same people that say that you're too much are the same ones that fucking wish they could do what you could do. The same ones who are saying, I don't know about that, I don't know if that's a cool goal, are honestly hoping you don't do it, because if you succeed, it's going to remind them that it's possible, but they don't have the fucking balls to do it. I don't want you to walk into rooms wondering if somebody is going to think you're too much. I want you to walk into a room and go, I don't really give a fuck if they think I'm too much. Sure I am. Like, I want you to own it. Like, I own the fact that I'm a lot. And you know what's so funny is I have actually been told, like, oh, you're too much. And I'm like, that's okay. Like, go find less. Go find less. I'm too much for you. Find somebody in your caliber. Find somebody in the place that you're at in life, because I am not going to change for that. And you know, you're going to meet people who try and make you smaller and try and make you bend your standards. I've had people try and tell me that I should mellow my job out. I should have people that tell me, are you sure that you don't want to change your last name when you get married and do this and that? Yeah. I'm so sure. I am so sure about all these things. I'm not adjusting any of those. I have no interest. And if someone's like, well, you need to adjust this in order to be with me, then guess I'm gonna not be with you. Like, I just don't have this concern, because I am not going to be too much and have to adjust to make somebody else happy. I'm not doing that. I'm simply not doing that. I am not going to live my life according to what someone else's insecurities and perceptions about themselves are. I'm going to hold myself to my standards. And what I want your standard to be is that you are the best that you can be, and you're going to be the best that you can be. That you have things to say, that you have boundaries that you want to hold. You want to become the best version of you. And if somebody is offended by that, that is their own fucking problem. They need to stay in their lane. Friends, family, relationships, they need to stay in the fucking lane that they can drive in, okay? And this is exactly like the analogy I want to give you, okay? I'm going to hold my mic in between my knees. So you know how there's all the lanes on the freeway? You know, you drive, okay? There's the lanes where we're a little bit more chill, okay? There's the times where we have to pass. There is the fast lane. I'm sorry. Do you want someone who is slow as fuck in the fast lane? No, I certainly don't. And that's exactly what happens when people are telling you too much. They're trying to get in the fast lane, and they're trying to be like, hey, slow it down. Trying to make your fast lane slow. Actually, no, I don't think you should do that. I don't think you should believe in that goal. I think you're talking too loud. I think you're doing, I think. They don't know. And you know, if you're someone who's got places to fucking be, things to see, and you're in that fast lane, no one should be getting in that lane. They're not supposed to be there, okay? So when people are overstepping, let me take this back. When people are overstepping and are trying to make you feel small, know that they're not supposed to be there. They're in the wrong lane. They need to get in an area that feels comfortable for them. And if going slower and coasting along is their tempo, that's not bad, right? That's not to demonize or say that it's wrong or it's not good. Who knows? I don't know what they want in their life, and that's totally fine for them. They should not make you feel comfortable. Just like, for example, if someone's getting in the fast lane and wants to ride your dick in the middle line, that's stupid. What? Exactly. You shouldn't have to adjust that way. You need to find people that meet with you and work with you. I went to my brother's high school graduation, and he had a graduation party, and I actually remember there was somebody that I know that we were talking about future and goals, and she's older compared to me. She's an older aunt is like the age I would say for her. And we were talking, and she was talking about my goals and future and things like that. And we got into the conversation of marriage and kids. And I just said, like, I don't want to have kids right now, and I have no interest. And suddenly, all of a sudden, there were conversations about how unrealistic it was. And like, oh, I don't know about that. Like, just trying to make me feel like my decisions are bad. And younger me would have cowered. Younger me would have been like, no, I would have just agreed. But I was like, no. And I nicely argued back. I was like, no, this is what I want to do. I think it looks great for me. This is my plan. And then I noticed that when I held my firm boundaries and I didn't let someone make me feel like I was being too much, suddenly they cowered themselves. Suddenly they went, oh, and she started to she started backtracking. And I thought it was so funny. And I was like, this is such a perfect example of when people say you're too much and you hold your fucking self still. They either make fun of you, or when you call it out, they backtrack. And it was such a powerful feeling. Silly enough, I was like, oh, I know that's right. What? And what I'm trying to get at is, you need to be wildly, truly honest to yourself, because that is the only way you're going to find your people. That's the only way you're going to find the best things in life and the things that align with you and make sense. Because if you keep living for someone else's standards, you are never going to be happy. You are always going to be miserable. You're going to be chasing such an unrealistic standard. And if we think about standards in society, and also like even for women, they're so fucking unrealistic. Like, you can't win. You can't win. You could be covered up fully and someone's going to call you a prude. You could be almost showing whole and you're going to be called a whore. You can be loud. You can be quiet. You can be anything and you can't win. So if you can't win, might as well do whatever you want. And that's what I thought. Might as well do whatever I want. And I'm not going to minimize myself to make somebody else comfortable. I'm just going to simply do what I want. And then what's meant for me is going to stay. And the more that I am honest and transparent to who I am as a person, the easier it's going to be to sniff out the people who are not meant to be here. To me, the me now is so much better, I think, at sniffing out people who are not meant to be in my life versus like 5 years ago. I was bad at that. Now, I think I got a better grip on it. Now, because I'm so certain with who I am and I'm not mellowing myself out, the people that are uncomfortable stay away from me. Or I get to kick them out, one or the other. But like, it is so good. Or if I find one that's like tries to humble me, I'm like, I got your ass, absolutely not. Get her out of here. Now, what can we do to help ourselves out with these kinds of struggles, right? With people that do try and make us feel like we need to be smaller. I wrote down a few notes and I would love to read them off a little bit to you because here's some affirmations and steps that I want you to take, okay? First things first, I need you to know that you are exactly enough, okay? And I need you to remind yourself of that. You are enough. You are completely enough. This is who you need to be, and if you keep progressing and changing, you're doing what you need to do for yourself. Another reminder, you don't need to shrink yourself to be accepted and loved, and you deserve to take up space. You don't need to apologize for existing. You do not need to adjust and cater to everyone else's needs like that. You have every right to be and uphold space just as you are. Oh, another thing, your confidence is not arrogance. Nope, your confidence is not you being self-absorbed. You being confident and loving yourself is you being true to yourself. And if someone's offended by your confidence, absolutely not. That's not the person meant for you. Now, for learning with this video, what I do want you to do is I want you to take out a notebook or get your notes. I want you to write down what areas in your life are you trying to dim yourself down? Like, when you think about this kind of stuff, what are you doing and how are you dimming yourself down this week? Are you dimming yourself down by, like, agreeing with yourself? Are you setting boundaries that you are trying to dim yourself down to make yourself palatable to others? I need you to start identifying the people in your life that make you feel like you're too much. And then I need you to figure out what do they do that make you feel like you're too much.
Jules Verne, redécouvrez cette information collector, le numéro 1 de la Terre.
And then I need you to think about, are they meant to stay in your life? Is this a friend that's kind of let go? Is your boyfriend who's making you feel insecure now because he's not motivated? Evaluate if those people should be here around you in the first place, and if they are meant to be there for your next chapter of life. And the final thing I want you to do is start creating goals of how you want to show up more as yourself. Whether that's dressing more like how you really want to, speaking up your mind, setting boundaries, being more firm on those things. How can you show up in your week, in your day-to-day? How can you do that to be a little bit stronger? And don't think you got to do everything all at once. Just find baby steps. Because I am not apologetic just by doing it all at once. No. I just took some baby steps back because I fucked up, trial and error. I still was making progress though. So slowly figure out what is going to be a way that you can try and be unapologetically you. Don't miss out on things just because somebody's trying to make you feel small. Don't miss out on life. Don't miss out on that cool outfit you want to wear. Don't miss out on you being bold and speaking your mind. Don't miss out on standing your ground. Don't miss out on all the cool things you can experience by speaking up and showing your talents, showing the things that you're capable of. Because when one person says you're too much, there's going to be someone else out there that says, absolutely not, I love her. And when people told me that I was being too much, now I have thousands of people on the internet who find me entertaining and don't think that this is too much. I think that's pretty damn sick. And here's another reminder, not everyone is going to like you. Not everyone is going to think you're palatable or their cup of tea. And that is okay. I know that. And I love that about me. Like, I don't take it as a threat or a problem when I'm perceived as that. Because it's fine. I'm not meant for you. But I'm not going to minimize myself because I'm enough. I love that I'm enough. I love that I have a lot to say. I love that I'm unapologetic. That was it for today's episode. situations even where you felt like you were too much and someone was trying to minimize you, let me know. I would love to hear. Yeah, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And you guys, this is my last podcast. Oh my god, this is fucking crazy. This is my last podcast episode before I move to Kansas City. Isn't that crazy? The next content you guys are going to see is going to be in my new apartment. That me moving, all this other fun shit I'm doing is because I didn't minimize myself. So I love you guys, and don't forget, I have got you. Bye.